Have you ever noticed how effeminate Kenyan men are? I was just thinking about it the other day. I was thinking, when you watch all these prank shows that are made in Kenya, there's usually a theme in all those prank shows, and that theme is scaring people. And when the people get scared, they run away. Now, when you look at the people getting scared, a disproportionate number of them are men who run away at the slightest hint of trouble. Like in those prank shows, while they're just prank shows, they do show or open a window so that we can see into the psychology of many Kenyan men who run away at the sound of a dropping leaf. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking why, and I was thinking that the process of colonialism was the process of turning warriors into women. And we see that because one of the first things that the colonizers did was to disarm the male population, because previously, before colonialism, almost every man used to walk around with a sword and basically a club and a weapon or other. You rarely found men in pre-colonial times walking totally disarmed. Now today, when you look at Kenyan men, they normally walk totally disarmed, and it is almost taboo to learn how to use weapons. That's the situation they've put us. They've made us so effeminate that if someone was to attack your house, you never think of defending yourself. You always think of calling another man in a uniform to come and save you. So I was thinking, why should another man come to save you? Are you not man enough to defend yourself? But you see, we are not allowed the means of self-defense. It's absolutely illegal for African civilian men to possess guns. Now you need to understand there's something called the unequal application of law, because most non-African men in Kenya have guns. Don't even be deceived. You remember the story of, there was this Mzungu called, I'm not pronouncing his name correctly, he's called Cholmondeley, something like that. And Cholmondeley attacked and killed an African man. And he was arrested. It was a short trial, all fake. But the newspapers, the media, they made sure that they missed the most important point, which kept on occurring to me. I kept on thinking, how come this Mzungu called Cholmondeley had a gun and this African man did not have a gun? He was a civilian. The Mzungu was a civilian, right? And the African man that he killed was also a civilian. So how come the Mzungu civilian had a gun, but the African civilian did not? That's what I'm telling you. There's unequal application of the law, because even if right now you go to Laikipia, the Laikipia escarpment, where there's always some kind of drama, it has almost 1 million acres. And of that 1 million acres, 95% is owned by Europeans. You understand? And all those Europeans who own Laikipia Plateau, don't ask me who sold it to them. They all have guns. And if you go to their Facebook pages, if you know them, you'll see that they like to pose with guns. And they are civilians. You understand? But the government is constantly trying to go up north to disarm African civilians who have guns. They say that when African civilians have guns, it's illegal. But when the Europeans and the Indians in Kenya, civilians who have guns, it's not illegal. So there's a discrepancy in the way the law is applied. The law, the way they apply it against us, because again, like I always say, it's not our country. This is Mzungu country, this is Indian country, So I was thinking, it's not right for you to refer to yourself as a man if you don't have any firearms training. It's not proper. It's not fair to people who are actual men. Because if you cannot defend yourself, you cannot defend your property, you cannot defend your family, because you have no means of defense. If someone was to break into your house right now, today, what would you do? You would do nothing. You just turn around and wait to die. You see, a disarmed man is just a slave waiting to be captured. That's all. And you see, that's how you can see they treat most African men in Kenya with the worst brutality. You see, the cops treat us with the utmost brutality. How the thugs treat us with utmost brutality. How the matatu touts treat us with utmost brutality. How the watchmen treat us with utmost brutality. See, everywhere you go as an African man in Kenya, you'll be disrespected by almost anyone. And they're able to do this with impunity because they know you have no capacity to react. Your reaction has no value, has no worth, because what are you going to do? So they know you're weak. And so this culture of being effeminate has really developed in Kenya, whereby people may assume that Kenyan men are so strong, but when you see the actual behavior in real life, you realize how effeminate most Kenyan men have become. I remember I saw this prank show. It's almost like a social experiment, and it was insane. What happened was this: there was this guy walking in a bus station, a bus stop, and normally if you go to a bus stop, there's people waiting to board buses, right? So this guy came to this bus stop with a whip, and he was whipping people, forcing them to enter any bus. And what was absolutely bizarre is that majority of the people that they showed on the show willingly entered a bus that they didn't know its destination. There was in fact, it was less than 1% of the people who resisted what this guy was doing. And I sat down and I thought to myself, look at all these men. It is so easy to oppress a Kenyan man. It doesn't take much effort to oppress a Kenyan man, because Kenyan men are very effeminate. They haven't been trained how to use weapons. They're not allowed to carry weapons. They don't have the psychology of a warrior. They have the psychology of a very effeminate civilian population. And that's why we've seen all these horrific, inter-ethnic clashes. And many times it's very bizarre when you see the way Kenyan men treat each other, as opposed to how they treat the foreigners, who really are the enemy at the end of the day. And so I just wanted to say that you should do everything in your power to join a gun club. You should do everything in your power to get a firearms license. You should do everything in your power, if you're a real man, for at least once in your life, to get a gun and shoot it. I'm telling you, there is nothing more empowering than shooting a gun. Guns were meant for men. If you've never shot a gun, then it's not proper for you to refer to yourself as a man. You're just a slave waiting to be captured. You're just a victim waiting to be victimized. You're just a target waiting to be robbed. You understand? So we need to push a change in gun laws so that there is no selective application of the law when it comes to which civilians are allowed to possess firearms. Now, I know not all of you desire to possess firearms, which is okay. If you don't want one, you shouldn't get one. But for those who want one, they should be able to get one. Because under the current law, only European civilians, Indian civilians, and Chinese civilians are allowed to possess firearms. If you go as an African civilian to the police trying to get a firearms license, they will say no. You understand? So we need to change these laws that discriminate against us and set us up to fail.